think you gotta stop waiting for someone to come along and root for you. You've got to do that for yourself. And if you get lucky, you'll find a few people who really believe in you. But if your plan relies on luck to succeed, it's not a plan, it's a bet. And if you're gonna bet, then you might as well bet on you, not them.
If you really put your head down and you discipline yourself, bro, you'd be surprised to see what you can do in 60 days, let alone 5 months. It's like you gotta exceed your expectations every single time. You never wanna meet your own standard. I just wanna exceed. You gotta be excellent. You gotta excel in everything that you're doing. You wanna shock yourself, prove it to yourself. It's not even about no one else. You're the only one that can stop you. No one's in my way, bro. I don't got no restriction. It's me versus me. It's you versus you. Every time you go look yourself in the mirror when you get up out of bed, that's your competition.
I've always had it. I've always had visions of better. I've always visualized better. And in times of struggle, I always visualized good things. I always visualized victory, success, abundance.
Today is what creates tomorrow. And if you stack up enough todays, you'll create those tomorrows that are way up there, meaning who you are today will create the future you. And this is the power of having habits. Habits are nothing more than you consistently being the future version. So look at your habits, look at your routine, look at the things that you do consistently and ask yourself, am I doing this as the future version right now, or am I doing this as the past version? The issue with a lot of us is we do things as the past version of us consistently, instead of being and doing things as the future us right now consistently. So this is why you have to have non-negotiables for yourself, daily habits, because this is how you'll create the future you right now.
My favorite quote is actions speak louder than words, because it's true. You know, you can say whatever you want, but if your actions don't back up those words, then all it is just a bold-faced lie. Right? I can't just say it and snap my fingers. There had to be, every single day, little baby things that were stacked on top of each other and little baby steps that were heading towards that goal. And if I was taking steps backwards, then I'm just cheating myself.
There is no shame in wanting something. This whole world is based on wanting something. You've got to discover your gift, and when you discover it, you got to soak it. You got to wring it out, man. You got to diversify it. Most of us only have one talent. But do you know that that's all you need? If you take that background that you're from and never let it define you, but allow it to redefine you, all that stuff works for the good. Do you understand that you needed everything that's happened to you to happen to you in the exact order that it's happened in order for you to be the person that you are today?
It's either you have it or you don't. That sounds like excuses to me. I mean, you got to figure it out. If you really have an obsession to figure it out, you will figure it out. And every puzzle is constructed differently. Everybody has a different puzzle, man. You just got to figure out your own puzzle.
You're wondering why other people are successful. Who gives a... You can say you think it sucks, but to spend time wondering why someone is successful and hating, it doesn't do any good. I don't spend time wondering why I hate things or hating on someone or being jealous.
Don't mistake kindness for weakness. And if you think about why that saying exists for two reasons. One, because people do mistake kindness for weakness. The other reason that statement exists is they're saying don't do that because it's a mistake, because kindness is not weakness. In fact, kindness takes strength. And when you have that person that has that internal fortitude, most of the time those tough guys are acting like they're tough because they're insecure about something. That's what's going on. And so when people are kind, it's because they're secure.
It breaks my heart to see people who could be geniuses, who could be super healthy, who could have lots of prosperity, who could be doing amazing things in their community, who could be living gorgeous lives, serving the world, shining their luminosity on the world, and they're stuck. And they blame it. It's because of my mom, it's because of my dad, it's because of the country I live in, just a whatever, just a... I mean, that's... We do create our reality through our mindset, heart set, health set, and soul set. I always put people way above me when I was growing up. Like, my God, they had to have a lot more than me to get to where they're at. And a lot of them did. But once you get around the best of the best of the best people, you can kind of start breaking them down and realizing, man, you're just me, like we all have, but all you did was you hit it better.
You know you have the desire to achieve more. And so what's it going to take for you to start rewriting the story in your life? See, the problem is you have bought into this false narrative that you are destined for failure because you come from a failed family. You come from a divorced family, you come from a family of alcoholics, blue collar, we're just supposed to be blue collar. No, you're not. No, you're not. You can make as much money as you want, you can have as much freedom as you want, you can have as much opportunity as you want, but you gotta go out and get it, because I can tell you right now, every single one of you out there have exactly what you deserve.
You have to start living your life in expectation. You have got to start expecting great things to happen for you in order for it to happen.
I hate plan B. Every thought that you put into plan B, you're taking away now that thought and that energy from plan A. I've never ever had a plan B. I made a full commitment that I'm gonna go and be a bodybuilding champion. I made a full commitment that I'm gonna be in America. I made a full commitment that I'm gonna get in the show business and I'm going to be a leading man. No matter what it takes, I will do the work. I will do the work over and over and over until I get it.
You want your stuff? It's necessary you take responsibility for it, that you make it happen, that you don't give up, that you don't take any objection or disappointment or defeats personally, that you keep on keeping on, that you don't decide that I can't make it because you can't see the light at the end of the tunnel, that you realize that's a part of the program. And here's something you've got to resolve. Say this to yourself every day. See, as long as you're breathing, you got a shot at your dream.
The world breaks everyone, the very good, the very gentle, very brave. And those it doesn't break, it kills. There's no shame in being a broken man. I should know. You just pick up the pieces and start rebuilding.
Their feelings are stronger than their mind. Our minds are stronger than our feelings. So you think about the success that you had. Your feelings could have said, you don't need to get out of bed anymore. When you fail, your feelings give you excuses. Your mind makes you more resilient.
If you could change the way you wake up in the morning, stop saying, I got to go to work, I got to work out. Change one word in that sentence, and everything about your life changes. I get to wake up in the morning. When you say I got to, you take all of your opportunities and all of your blessings and you wrap them up in stress by saying I got to. You take all the stress off of it when you say I get to.
We're running at 40%, most of us, because we're half in and half out. And it's not surprising, because life is difficult. It's like, well, what if you were 90% in, or 95% in, or all in? Because you're all in anyways, right? It's a life and death game. No one gets out of this. Everyone dies. You might as well commit yourself. And you might as well commit yourself to the highest good that you can attain, because why not? It'll imbue your life with meaning. It's hard, the responsibility's there, but all the meaning's in the responsibility, and that'll make your life better. Maybe it make the world better. It's like, that'll justify your damn miserable existence at 3 o'clock in the morning when you're wondering what the hell you're doing here. And that's a good thing, because there's gonna be days when you're aching and tired and sore. You need a reason to get up, and you think, yeah, well, a little more heaven and a little less hell. Maybe I can pull that off today and tomorrow and next week, and that's worth struggling forward for. And so that's how it looks to me.
I have spent my whole life scared, frightened of things that could happen, might happen, might not happen.
What I came to realize is that fear, that's the worst of it. That's the real enemy.
Outlast the temporary. Outlast the temporary. Everything in life is temporary. All pain is temporary.
Have an unavoidable mortal burden to bear in life. There's no escape from it, except to directly confront it and to take it on voluntarily.
The world doesn't give a damn about your excuses. The point I'm trying to make is life goes on with or without you. I want you to understand that and get that. It is up to you to create a disruption in your life. We have been living in the same freaking patterns over and over again, okay? You have to positively disrupt the pattern that you're currently in.
If you let people's perception of you dictate your behavior, you will never grow as a person. But if you leave yourself open to experience, despite what others think, then you will learn and grow.
There's far more to you than you think, because it turns out that you have substantial problems, genuine, deep, but that if you decide that you'll take that on as your responsibility, that you can put yourself together psychologically, just the courage, and you can actually solve the problems. Dark as things are, there's more light in you than you know what to do with, and there's more light in you than you can possibly manifest, and the way to find that out is to challenge yourself against these massive problems and to find out that you're the one that can deal with them.
You will have good days and you'll have bad days, but you will always learn something more or something new on bad days than good days.
Success requires no apologies. Failure permits no alibis. Success requires no apologies. Failure permits no alibis. Going through adversity, going through trials and tribulations, and get to the other side of these trials if you don't quit, that you get introduced to your other self. Your other self. And so what if it is that all of the tragedies, trials, tribulations, difficulties in our lives are all set up there so that on the other side of it, there's another version of it. So the other side of it, we get introduced to our other self.
Begin. This is where it begins. In the darkness, before the sun and the birds and the world every day. When the alarm sounds, it's time. Rise. Despite fatigue and soreness, curse the warmth of the bed. Curse the comfort of the pillow. Fight the temptation of weakness. Get up and go.
You don't have to force yourself or motivate yourself to think negatively, to be depressed, to beat yourself up over the head. If you want to begin to really enjoy a happy, successful, healthy life, you've got to be willing to go against the tide. You've got to be willing to harness your will and say, in spite of this, I'm in control here.
So number one, who are you and what your value is? Number 2, what is your purpose here in life? And number 3, what is your destiny when you're done here?
The fight within, a reminder to keep going. You've heard it before, maybe too many times. Life is a fight. But I don't mean that in some cliche bumper sticker way. I mean it in the way that only someone who's been pushed to the edge can understand. I mean it in the way that life itself sometimes feels like it's conspiring against you. When the weight on your chest feels unbearable. When every step you take feels like it's only leading you deeper into the darkness. But the thing about the fight, about this life, is that it's not meant to be easy. It's not supposed to feel like a victory lap, because when you're in the thick of it, when you've hit your lowest point, that's when you are at your most powerful. There's a strange paradox in life. The moment you feel like you've got nothing left, that's often when your breakthrough is right around the corner. And I'm not saying that to offer you false hope. I'm saying it because this life is about resilience. It's about enduring the storm, not because you know for sure the sun is coming, but because there's nothing else left but to fight. There will be days when everything feels heavy, too heavy to carry. There will be moments when you're convinced that you can't keep going, that you're done, that maybe, just maybe, this time life has beaten you. I've been there. And so have you, if you're being honest with yourself. And in those moments, we have a choice. We can give in to the darkness, or we can keep moving, however slowly, however painfully. Think about it. What has quitting ever gotten anyone? Comfort? Number peace? Not even close. The only thing giving up guarantees is that the battle will remain unfinished. That the thing you most want will stay just out of reach. You know, this life we're living, it's short. It feels long when we're in it, struggling. It feels endless when we're at rock bottom. But if you look at the grand scheme of things, at the time we've been given, it's a blink, a flash, and it's over. And I think about that often. About how we're all running against the clock, fighting to make something of ourselves, fighting to matter, to leave something behind. But here's the truth. Your fight isn't just about legacy or success or material things. It's about surviving the hardest moments and choosing to stand back up when life throws you down. There's a saying that it's always darkest before the dawn, that the worst moments, the toughest battles, are always right before something gives. But that dawn, it's not promised, is it? Sometimes it feels like it'll never come. Sometimes it feels like the night stretches out endlessly, like there's no light in sight. But I'll tell you this. I have seen people hit what looked like their absolute rock bottom, and I have watched them rise. The point is, no matter how dark it feels, no matter how lost you are, there's always something on the other side. Maybe it's not the life-changing event you were hoping for. Maybe it's not the perfect sunrise. But it's progress. It's growth. It's the chance to be a little stronger, a little tougher, a little more ready for the next battle. The key is to keep pushing through the dark, to fight for that dawn even when you can't see it, even when you doubt it'll ever come, because that's the human spirit. That's the fire inside you that refuses to be snuffed out. And maybe, just maybe, that's what this whole thing is about. Not about winning, but about enduring. I'm not going to stand here and tell you that the road ahead is easy. It's not. It's brutal. Life is unfair. It doesn't care if you're ready or not. It doesn't care if you're tired, if you're on your last breath. It will keep coming at you with everything it has. But you have something life doesn't. You have choice. You have resilience. You have the ability to keep fighting, even when the odds are stacked against you. And that's what will make the difference. So the next time you feel like giving up, the next time it feels like it's all too much, remember that it's in those moments, the darkest ones, that you're closest to breaking through. Remember that this life, this short, unforgiving life, is yours to fight for. Don't quit before the dawn. Don't stop before you see the other side. It's coming. It always is. Keep fighting. You owe that to yourself.
How true it was when Goethe wrote, "As soon as you trust yourself, you will know how to live." Magic is believing in yourself. If you can do that, you can make anything happen. If you treat an individual as he is, he will remain how he is. But if you treat him as if he were what he ought to be and could be, he will become what he ought to be and could be. A person hears only what they understand. Knowing is not enough. We must apply. Willing is not enough. We must do.
Nobody has all the answers, but the answers will come to you if you're available. And I think you need to make time to accept the answers and to figure out the answers. Life is a challenge. Life is hard. It's not easy. But the message is that you got to keep moving forward. You got to keep getting up. And pretty soon people look at you, God, they're so successful. They're lucky. No. If you work hard, the answers will come.
Only thing separating you from a dream is putting it on paper, writing it down, having the plan, and taking action. That is the only difference. Us as humans, our human nature wants to be lazy. We want to do as less as possible, but have as fun as possible with most pleasure and avoid pain. We're that simple. But then we overcomplicated things with the systems and all this other stuff. So just acknowledge that, write it down, have the plan, and be the person to decide your schedule and what you want to do rather than someone else giving you a task that you're working and helping them build their future more than you building your own future.
Remain focused. You are in the process of building a legacy. Your potential is not even close to being met. It's all there waiting for you, but you have to remain focused. And I know how bad you want it. You have a gut feeling that is telling you this is not it. Don't ignore it. It is there because it is your purpose. And far too many people get distracted and end up wandering down a different path. Don't let that be you. And it's not hard. This is a beautiful process. Invite failure. Be excited for challenges. Get lost a little bit, because when you find your way back, I promise you, you will be more knowledgeable, more disciplined, and more focused.
It's fearful. It's fearful. You know, life gets more and more difficult as we get older. We think it gets easier, it doesn't. It gets more complicated and layered. I've always said that life is kind of like from 1 to 40, it's all about addition, and from 40 on, it's about subtraction. You have to say, you know what? How do I make myself happy? What is it going to do? Like, I try to make everyone happy. Now, what is the thing that's going to make me happy? But in doing that, you may have to change your life drastically. And that takes a lot of guts, but it's going to be worth it. You know, because sometimes we follow a path that wasn't the right path and you don't, oh, how do I turn around? It's not easy.
The real win is the process. It's not the trophy at the end of the day. It's not the awards. It's not the glory. The win is that you put in the work when you didn't want to, when nobody was watching. You did it for you. That's the biggest win you can ask for. Never give up.
As humans, we tend to define people by their choices, by their actions. But then what motivates their actions? Well, often it's how they feel. And in what motivates how they feel about certain things, it's their perception of what's valuable and what's not. And so that's kind of how I drilled down to this idea that essentially what we are is just an aggregation of what we choose to value in this world, because everything else will flow from that.
Your biggest battle isn't with the competition, it's with yourself. It's in those moments when you hesitate, let excuses win, and allow distractions to derail your progress. The real competition is in the choices you make every day. Every decision either brings you closer to your potential or keeps you stuck. Master the discipline within, and nothing out there can stop you, because the only person standing in your way is you.
You can't afford not to face this fear, not to face what's holding you back, not to face this thing that you're so afraid of. Your future's way too important. It's way too important, way too important. We need you. We need that out of you. We need you to face that fear, to grow out of this stage.
In the end, you realize it's just you. No one is coming to save you. No one can understand you at the depth you want them to. No one can lift you up other than yourself. No one can be there for you all the time, and no one else can overcome the thoughts that are weighing you down. It was always you, and it will always ever be just you. I don't think you realize just how limited time you have on this earth. 100 years if you're lucky, and even then, it's such a gamble because you never truly know what's going to happen. So this is why every single day matters. Every single moment matters. So you should be living every moment to the fullest. You should be really working on yourself, working towards your dreams, working towards your goals, working towards whatever it is that you want, because this is your one shot, so make it count. And if you do that, if you really put in the work, you put 100% of your effort in, you could achieve everything that you want to achieve, but nothing is guaranteed. So at least try your best, because if you try your best, you have the best shot at succeeding.
You must assume that you already are what you want to be, and then live by faith in this assumption. Living from the end means that you call the things which do not exist as if they did. It will chase after you if you can place into your imagination what it is that you would like to attract and begin to feel it. That which you feel yourself to be, you are. And you are given that which you are. So assume the feeling that would be yours were you already in possession of your wish. And your wish must be realized.
So many lives would transform overnight if they realized, my life sucks, I have nothing going for me, really means I have nothing to lose, and that makes you a very dangerous person.
When is it gonna change? You know, what are you waiting on? Are you waiting for something major to happen, something heartbreaking to happen, something drastic to happen? Why you gotta wait for it when it's right in front of your face?
We're scared to dive into our lives, what made us who we are. The beautiful people that we are, we're all jacked up in so many ways. That's the beauty of us.
I want you to know that you can be whatever you've been envying. Instead of you looking at someone else's success, engaging in wondering, how did they do it and why haven't I done Instead, look at them and say, if they did it, I can do it. Look at them and realize that they are the preview and you are the full movie. The greatness that is in you hasn't been tested yet. That's why you don't have a testimony.
The idea of reaching this golden year, it's a very flawed idea, because it's an idea that you're gonna work hard, but then you're gonna reach the finish line. But there's no finish line. No, it doesn't exist.
Your mind is a very strange thing. As soon as you give it a name, a genuine aim, it'll reconfigure the world in keeping with that aim. You have to be genuine about the aim, but once you aim, the world will reconfigure itself around that aim.
Success comes down to doing the obvious thing for an extraordinary period of time without convincing yourself you're smarter than you are.
I don't care if you have to inch your way day by day. Even if you have to get down and it hurts and it's hard and nobody can see what you're really going through. If you don't quit, the pit will become your platform.
Being from a disciplined family does not make you a disciplined person. What makes you a disciplined person is choosing to be disciplined.
Cannot have a story without having lowlights. Every time that you find yourself in a negative situation with negative things happening around you, understand that this is going to be a great chapter. You just got to stay on your book.
But my thesis in life is it doesn't matter who you are today. It certainly doesn't matter how you were born. The only thing that matters is who you want to become and the price you're willing to pay to get there.
The way you've defined yourself really controls you. And so it can be to your advantage. So if your thing is I find the way, you're gonna find the way. If your thing is I always end up losing, or people hate me, or I put things off, or whatever your identity is, if it's a negative identity, that is what's controlling your life.
I know I can control my effort. I can't control everybody's effort. I can control my attitude. I can't control everybody's attitude. I can control me keeping my word. I can't control everybody keeping their word.
And they'll tell you, you did the best you could. No, they'll say that the deck was stacked against you. And they'll say it's not your fault. And they'll tell you it's okay to stop. It's okay to settle. It's okay to give up. And that is the instinct you need to fight. You need to push back, to smash into the ground.
We create what we focus on. Where focus goes, the energy flows, but most people are focusing on what they have to do, not what they can do. They're focusing on what is versus what they're here to create. What makes you a leader is you see things as they are, but then you see it better than it is, and you make it the way you see it. You come up with that vision and you make it happen.
As a whatever you want to be, you've got to get so good at that thing that when people see you do it, you make them experience the most potent human emotion, and that is awe. To get that good is a terrifying journey of self-discovery and confronting who you really are. Because you cannot make change until you acknowledge where you're actually at.
Give yourself less than a year to do it. Give yourself 6 months and you will. If you give yourself 1 day, you will have a day one. Day one, you begin it, you're on your way. Stop saying 1 day, make it day one. Stop thinking that time will finally surrender something to you and go and make time give it up.
Do not take the easy way out. Do not give up based on instinct, your instinct. Train it to say, get up, go. Fight on. And if that is what you become. If that becomes your fundamental reaction to adversity, if that becomes your gut instinct, then you have overcome just about anything that stands in your path.
Half the year is gone. What stages in your life, in your goals, are you closer to at this point in the year? And which are you stuck in that are exactly the same? And what do you have to do to change that?
Consuming our mind every single day with worries, my friend, is a disservice to your energy, to your gift, to your potential, to your mission, to yourself. Because all that energy your mind has, the ideas that could flow to you, the solutions, it's a missed opportunity because you're swimming in worries. Why worry that much? But this is a practice. We often forget that developing a positive mind, we don't just have a positive mind. Some of us are hardwired a little bit differently, yes. But it's a practice. It's something we do every single day. We wake up and we look and we place meaning into life. We don't wait for meaning to come to us like the wind. No, we place meaning with intention into the things that we do.
You're only excited about the outcome of something and not the process of doing it. You shouldn't do it because the outcome's uncertain. So you have to really enjoy who you're becoming, what you're learning, what you're getting out of it, not just the actual outcome of making money or selling your business.
You losing. And you're not losing because you're a loser. You losing because you focusing on losing. That's all you focused on. What do they think? Believe in you if you don't believe in you, and you losing. And you losing because you're overthinking everything you do because you got to get their approval to do it. So I need you to start doing what winners do. Winners focus on winning. Winners focus on scoring. Winners focus on dominating. Winners focus on showing up. Winners don't care what losers think about them. And winners don't care what other winners think about them. All they care about is winning. So do me a favor, you a winner. Start saying what you know and what you understand. And I promise you, if you start focusing on winner, you gonna win. Losers lose and winners win. It's time for you to win.
Here was the best promise my mentor ever gave me. He said, Mr. Only, if you will change, everything will change for you. Wow, I took that to heart. And sure enough, the more I changed for the better, the more I changed from having a poor day to a good day, from lack of discipline to discipline. Everything changed.
That thing that's hard to do discourages a whole bunch of other, all by itself, because the person who's willing to suffer the longest wins. And so we choose things that are incredibly hard to do. And you've heard me say pain and suffering a lot. And it's actually a positive attribute. People who can suffer are ultimately the ones that are the most successful.
I don't know what your future is, but if you're willing to take the harder way, the more complicated one, the one with more failures at first than successes, the one that has ultimately proven to have more meaning, more victory, more glory, then you will not regret it. Whatever you choose for a career path, remember the struggles along the way are only meant to shape you for your purpose.
Secret of the age is that you have the power to do more than you can ever begin to imagine. Don't underestimate yourself. You don't know enough about yourself to become a cynic. And so you've got to challenge yourself to access that power that you have within you. You're more than a conqueror.
You could hope, you can wish, you could dream, you could say you're gonna, but the reality is until you start stacking wins day by day by day by day, nothing's going to happen. The game is played one day at a time. And if you have the capacity to wake up today, go through the entire day, do everything you're supposed to do, and execute on those for one day, that means you can do it again the next day. And that means you can do it again the next day. You have exactly what's required to win at the highest level you could ever possibly win at. It's about stacking wins in a cumulative fashion over the course of time. And when you do that, winning is undeniable.
You need to make it a habit to start every fucking day validating yourself, cheering for yourself, because life is a marathon. And this might be a challenging leg where you're like, I'm just gonna throw in the towel. I'm not gonna do that thing. Hell no. If you're standing in front of that mirror, you deserve to feel the support and empowerment and encouragement that you need. You are doing so much every single day that you don't give yourself credit for.
A lot of folk won't let you forget what you used to do or what you have done, what mistakes you've made. All of us have made some mistakes in life. All of us have done some things that if we had them to do over again, we wouldn't do it again. A lot of things that if I had it to do over again, if I knew then what I know now, I would have done it differently. Well, it didn't happen that way. Oh, you don't want me to live that down? How you want to keep on putting that in my face about what I did? Guess what? I'm not interested. That's what I did then. Won't do it today, so you're taking on an innocent man.
The thing that's so interesting about being alive is that you're all in. No matter what you do, you're all in. This is going to kill you. So I think you might as well play the most magnificent game you can while you're waiting.
You have to start living your life in expectation. You have got to start expecting great things to happen for you in order for it to happen. If you live your life in expectations, that's what happens to you. If you live your life in despair, that's what happens to you. I'll never be rich. You won't. You won't. The moment you change the frequency that your tower emits, different things come back to you.
You have this kind of convoluted, limiting belief about why you can't do something right now that's your own BS story you keep telling yourself. How about you just drop that story? How about you just decide it's a lie? Every day, some of us are killing ourselves with the shame we carry from something we've done, some humiliation, some fear. We put this gun to our head every day that tells us we're not enough. We're not strong enough, pretty enough, smart enough. You do it over and over and over again, and there's a better way forward. You can put those things down in your life. You could decide today that you were born to do something great. You could set aside this weapon that you keep using against yourself to hold you back from your joy, from your passion, from your achievement, from all the goodies in life. You could decide today, just intentionally, to set this weapon down, whatever it is.
I've looked in the mirror every morning and asked myself, if today were the last day of my life, would I want to do what I am about to do today? And whenever the answer has been no for too many days in a row, I know I need to change something. Remembering that you are going to die is the best way I know to avoid the trap of thinking you have something to lose. There is no reason not to follow your heart.
If you have enough reasons, you can do anything. If you have enough reasons, you can go as far as you want to go, cash in on all that you want to cash in on, if you have enough reasons. Enough reasons to get up early. Enough reasons to stay up a little late. Enough reasons to buckle down and learn the disciplines. Enough reasons to put yourself through the paces. Enough reasons to develop the language. Enough reasons to pay the price.
I hate it when people say, fake it till you make it, because that sounds to me like you're lying. I am future me. I'm walking into this room right now as future me. I have written down very clearly who I want to be. 1 year from today, I'm going to be that person now. That's what I'm going to be. I'm going to start acting like that person today.
The only thing standing between you and the life that you want is the ability to grieve. Grieve the past potential. Mourn the fantasy of what could have been, the life that you thought you'd have by now, the people who chose not to stay, the mistakes that you're still beating yourself up for. Grieve it all. Let go of your comfort zone and the desire to be chosen or approved of, because your new life will cost you your old one. And remember that in the process of building this life that you want, you'll only ever lose what was meant for a person that you no longer are.
You need to understand this. Everything in your life is a reflection of a choice you've made. If you want a different result, make a different choice.
You have to demand it. You have to promise yourself. This is it right here. You have to promise yourself that you will not ever be a failure. You have to marry this thought pattern. I don't care if on your deathbed, dying, hurts, anything. You have to promise yourself before you get there that you are not going to go almost.
And it's like the things that we need to work on that are calling us, that are the portals into evolution and greater awareness and self-understanding, are the things that we don't want to look at because they're uncomfortable. But if you don't confront them or look at them, they only grow stronger and at some point reveal themselves in your life in ways none of us want, right? So the solution is always to move towards the thing that you're avoiding or don't really want to deal with.
Once you decide to be all in, you are going to be misunderstood by every individual out there, including yourself. You will no longer recognize yourself because being all in requires you to show up differently at different scarce people.
Whatever you want in life, you're gonna have to work hard for it. And if it's huge, you're gonna work 10 times as harder. I would get so jealous of people who could get it easy or get some form of it without having the difficulties that I had. I'm like, how did you just walk into this and get that? And how I'm struggling, I would get so angry. Then I had to like, you know what? I'm never gonna be jealous of anybody again. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna understand why my path is different. Why do I have to work much harder than that person? And when I tell you, as I look back at all of those people, I kept surpassing and surpassing and surpassing and surpassing every time. I'm like, wow, the very person that you were jealous of because of what they had, look at where you are now. Now they're looking at you going, wow, how did you do that? Well, instead of being jealous, I started working and focus and working harder and harder. Nobody could outwork me.
All of us have this conflict going on at all times inside of us. And it's between two forces. And the first force is your voice of fear and your inner critic. There's another voice, this second voice, your soul, your true self. That voice is a little quieter, and that voice isn't in your head. A lot of times it shows up in your body. Feel that. The voice of fear will lead you to a life that's too small. If you want to reach full power, it's in the second voice. This contains your dreams, your path, contains your energy. Energy is the language of your soul. If you want to feel the full magnitude of what you can do in this one life that you have, there's really only one decision. Which voice will you listen to?
Every limitation you have in this life is self-imposed. You don't have to be special or talented. All you have to do is believe with every fiber of your being that you can make it work. And sooner or later, it will. If you believe you have what it takes, then your mind will do whatever it can to prove you're right. So be delusional. Go for that thing that seems like it's so far out of reach, because the only thing that's stopping you is you.
I ask people all the time, man, who are you when it goes south, man? Not when you get what you want. We know when the sun's shining and you get what you want, you're gonna smile. Right. Babies do that. I give them a bottle, they gonna smile. I give them what they want, they gonna smile. I give a puppy a snack, he gonna smile. But when you don't get what you want, when it doesn't go the way you want it to, even if it affects and impacts you on a physical level, who are you? Because that's the person that your kids are gonna learn from. That's the person that your parents raised. That's the person that will go out and either positively or negatively affect and impact the world.
Progress over perfection. You do know that if you're making progress, most people are going to try to nail you with not being perfect. So don't even try to be perfect. Just embrace your weirdness. Embrace the fact that you're different. I think you ought to give yourself a little credit for being that way. But if you're going to do it, you can't give in to the criticisms you're going to be hearing. You're going to get critics all the time. You're going to live in discomfort most of your life. Remember this: growth over destination, expansion over stagnation, progress over perfection.
You gotta lean in to progress. You gotta lean into who you are. You gotta fully celebrate and embrace the fact that you're trying to do something great with your life, and that should be acknowledged.
Bird doesn't land on a branch trusting that the branch won't break, but rather trusting in its ability to fly away. You are the bird, life is the branch. Don't waste your entire life overanalyzing the safest place to land. Make a decision, enjoy the view while you're there, and trust that you'll be able to move on if and when the time comes.
You aren't who you used to be. It's okay if you made mistakes and aren't proud of the person you once were. because that's not who you are anymore. So it's time to put all of that behind you. Step into a new direction and keep moving forward. Believe me when I say that your past doesn't define you. You have a choice to wake up every day and start a new beginning. You aren't where you were last year, and you aren't who you were last night. Just keep fighting to get better, one day at a time.
A lot of people have this fantasy of like flipping the switch and becoming a new person and never going back to being their old self. And that's what it is. It's a fantasy. Because the reality is you wrestle with your old self every single day. You don't just make the decision to be different once. You have to make it over and over and over and over again. You're gonna have plenty of days where that old self comes knocking on your door. Those old habits come knocking at your door. Those old tendencies come knocking at your door, wanting to wedge themselves back into your life. And you have to resist and resist and resist. And sometimes you fail. Sometimes you have a moment of weakness and you end up being your old self for a moment. But as long as the next moment you choose to be better, you're gonna end up fine. It's when you don't resist and you don't try to be better and you spend the entire day being a loser, you spend the entire week being a loser. That's how you stay on the hamster wheel forever and never get anywhere you want to go.
If you're going to pursue success in your life, you have to decide you're going to be on a road that most people are not on. And a lot comes with taking that road. But the truth is, the journey to success can be a very painful journey, and you can feel very alone. And it's designed that way. And so it often bothers me when I hear people say, I need the support from my spouse or my friends, or I've got haters, or no one understands me, or I'm getting all this rejection and negative feedback from people. I've got haters. That's the road you're on. You're going to a place most people aren't going to go in their lives. And so what comes with deciding to be great is all of those things.
The most helpful frame was thinking about who I was becoming as the asset that I was building. So in real time, whenever I finished a long day's work, I was becoming more like the type of person who could work for 5 years without reward. And that would be part of the story I would someday tell. And some of the biggest reinforcers I've had in my life has been future casting the story that I would tell about the shitty period that I was in.
Question for yourself: what is impossible? Never accept the limitations of someone else. Somebody told you that it's impossible. Don't even try. Give up before you even can try it for yourself. Never accept the goddamn limitations that someone else has placed upon you. Decide for your fucking self what is your limitation. Try it for your fucking self. Then that is the only way fucking way to know if you can or can't do something.
Create your own self. Most people are missing something because there's so much trapped in there. There's so much in you that you have not unlocked. God, I feel like I'm missing something. Yeah, because it's about 75% of you is still fucking in there. It's still chained up because you just didn't want to find your willpower. Didn't want to find your soul, your will, your heart, your determination, your guts, your courage. What that looks like, it looks scary.
This is the gap when we start. And this is the gap as you grow. Notice how you grow and they don't. So how do you close the gap? You gotta come back down. When you come back down, you lose. So you gotta keep going up. That's why closing that gap gotta be them catching up to you. And if they don't catch up, you gotta leave them behind.
Consistency doesn't mean perfection. It doesn't mean being hard on yourself when life interferes with your idea of being perfect. Consistency is getting back on track when life throws you off and not quitting when things get hard. The definition of consistency doesn't mean flawless. It means staying on course for as long as possible, knowing that falling off is almost guaranteed. Don't punish yourself for doing the best you can. It doesn't have to be perfect. You just have to keep going.
Talent is a pursued interest. In other words, anything that you're willing to practice, you can do.
I think the best way to prove your value is to work, is to learn, is to absorb, to be a sponge. Okay? You always want to outwork your potential. You know, as hard as you believe you can work harder than that.
Everything has stages of growth. Why in today's time are we forgetting that? Why are we forgetting that and expecting an immediate space of perfection?
It doesn't matter what challenges it is that you are facing there. It is the fundamental principle behind it that you do not run away. That you are open for everything that is being thrown at you. It is this type of mindset to also understand, I didn't ask for an easy life. I take what comes. If it leaves, I let it pass.
You're exactly where you need to be in life. All the confusion and frustration you feel is part of the journey. Don't worry about being behind or never finding your place in this world. Everything is already working for you behind the scenes. All you need to do is stay open to the opportunities, let go of the outcome, and stay grounded within yourself. The rest will unfold exactly how it's supposed to.